I always thought I had the perfect life. Loving parents who instilled strong values, a stable job as a software engineer, and the best friend anyone could ask for in Jason. But one accusation turned my world upside down. When his sister Ashley falsely claimed I got her pregnant after a party, my traditional Mexican-American family chose their reputation over the truth. They disowned me without a second thought. If you have ever been betrayed by those who should believe in you most, you know that hollow feeling. Let me know where you are watching from. Hit that like button and subscribe to hear how I fought for the truth and what happened when it finally came out. Growing up in a traditional Mexican-American family in San Diego meant living by certain unbreakable rules. At 26, I had followed the path my parents Miguel and Elena had laid out for me. My father owned a successful auto repair shop, his strong hands permanently stained with engine oil no matter how much he scrubbed them. My mother taught Spanish at the local high school, respected by colleagues and adored by students for her patient teaching style. My younger sisters, Lucia and Sofia, were still in college, both making our parents proud with their academic achievements. Sunday dinners were sacred in our household. No excuses were accepted for missing them. Not work, not fatigue, not even the Super Bowl. We gathered around the oak table my grandfather had built, sharing stories from our week while passing dishes of my mother's enchiladas and my father's special grilled carne asada. These moments reinforced our family bonds and values. I had worked hard to make something of myself. After graduating from San Diego State with a computer science degree, I landed a job at Next Level Tech, a rising software company developing business applications. I had saved nearly $30,000 toward buying my own place and eventually starting my own tech company. Everything was falling into place according to plan. My friendship with Jason began 8 years ago during our freshman orientation at San Diego State. We bonded over our shared love of coding and basketball, often staying up until 3 in the morning working on programming projects or destroying each other in video games. We became roommates sophomore year and lived together until graduation. Jason was the brother I never had. When his parents moved to Florida during our junior year, my family adopted him into our Sunday dinners. My mother would pack extra Tupperware containers of food for him to take back to our apartment. My father taught both of us how to change brake pads and rotate tires on my beat-up Honda. During holidays, Jason had a permanent spot at our table, joking with my sisters and helping my mother in the kitchen. After graduation, we were lucky enough to both get hired at Next Level. We talked constantly about starting our own company someday. We had even started mapping out a business plan for launching next year, sketching ideas on napkins during lunch breaks, and staying late after work to develop prototypes. I first met Ashley on a cool March evening when Jason invited me to dinner to welcome his sister back to San Diego. She had been in New York for 2 years, working as a marketing coordinator for a fashion magazine. Jason had mentioned her occasionally, but they had never been particularly close growing up. Ashley walked into the Mexican restaurant 20 minutes late, turning heads in a sleek black dress that contrasted sharply with our casual jeans and button-downs. Her dark hair was cut in an angular bob, and her confident stride suggested someone used to making an impression. At 24, she possessed a striking beauty and the kind of magnetic presence that commanded attention. Throughout dinner, I noticed her eyes lingering on me whenever I spoke. She laughed a bit too enthusiastically at my jokes and found reasons to touch my arm when making a point. When Jason stepped away to take a call, she immediately asked for my phone number to have a local contact besides her brother. Later that night, as we were leaving, Jason pulled me aside with a half smile. "I saw Ashley flirting with you. Just be careful, man. My sister has a habit of creating complications." I assured him I only saw Ashley as his sister. I was focused on my career and savings goals, not looking for relationship drama. Besides dating, a friend's sister seemed like asking for trouble. Over the next few weeks, Ashley sent occasional texts, usually asking for recommendations around San Diego or technical help with her laptop. I responded politely, but briefly, maintaining a friendly distance. Sometimes she would send messages late at night that seemed designed to start more personal conversations, but I would usually reply the next morning with simple, direct answers. The fateful party happened on a Saturday in early April, celebrating 5 years since our college graduation. Jason had recently moved into a spacious two-bedroom apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown San Diego. String lights crisscrossed the living room ceiling, casting a warm glow over the gathering of about 15 former classmates. The air filled with the scent of pizza wings and nostalgia as we reminisced about college mishaps and celebrated recent promotions. I arrived early to help Jason set up arranging drinks on the kitchen counter and connecting his sound system. People began trickling in around 8, bringing 6 packs of craft beer and bottles of wine. By 9, the apartment hummed with conversation and laughter. Ashley arrived unexpectedly around 10, wearing a striking red dress that stood out among the casual attire. Jason seemed surprised to see her but introduced her to everyone. Throughout the evening, she constantly maneuvered to be near me, sitting beside me on the couch refilling my wine glass without asking and finding excuses to take photos together on her phone. I nursed 2 glasses of Cabernet over the course of 3 hours, maintaining complete clarity. Software engineers at my company had an important client presentation Monday morning, and I needed to be sharp for our 7 a.m. preparation meeting. Around 11:30, I stepped onto the balcony for fresh air. The city lights stretched before me, a grid of possibilities. I was contemplating my savings plan when Ashley joined me, leaning against the railing uncomfortably close. "So Benito, Jason tells me you two are planning to start your own company," she said. "That is the dream. Probably next year, if our prototype gains traction. I could help with marketing. I have connections from New York." Our conversation about career aspirations was interrupted when Jason poked his head out. He raised an eyebrow, looking between us. "Am I interrupting something between my sister and my best friend?" "Not at all," I said quickly. "Actually, I need to head out. Early meeting tomorrow." I said my goodbyes and left by midnight, driving home in my practical sedan completely sober and thinking only about the presentation prep awaiting me in the morning. At no point had there been any physical contact between Ashley and me beyond a casual greeting hug when she first arrived. Certainly nothing that could lead to pregnancy. This fact would become critically important later. The bombshell dropped 2 months after the party, during a typical Sunday family dinner. My mother had prepared her special chile rellenos, and my father was telling a story about a challenging engine repair when my phone rang. Seeing Jason's name, I excused myself to answer, helping my mother clear plates as I stepped into the kitchen. "How could you do this to me?" Jason's voice exploded through the speaker loud enough that my family in the dining room could hear. "I trusted you, man. I brought you into my home." "What are you talking about?" I asked, completely confused. "Do not play dumb. Ashley is pregnant, 8 weeks along. She told me everything about you two hooking up at my party." My blood ran cold. "Jason, that is absolutely not true. Nothing happened between us. Save it. Ashley would not lie about this. She is my sister. You were supposed to be my best friend." His voice cracked with emotion. "Stay away from my family." The line went dead. I stood frozen in the kitchen, phone still pressed to my ear, when I turned to find my parents standing in the doorway. My father's face had hardened into stone while my mother's eyes brimmed with tears. "What have you done?" my father asked in a voice that could cut steel. The next hour was the most excruciating of my life. We gathered in the living room like a tribunal. My father pacing by the fireplace, my mother perched rigid on the edge of the sofa, my sisters sitting wide-eyed in the corner. The warm family home suddenly felt like an interrogation chamber. "I need you all to believe me," I pleaded. Nothing happened between Ashley and me. Nothing. I barely spoke to her at the party, and left early for work the next day. My father slammed his palm against the mantel. 8 weeks. The timing matches Jason's party. Why would this woman lie about something so serious? I do not know why she would say this, but it is not true. I swear on everything I value. My mother dabbed her eyes with a tissue. "Benito, we raised you with clear values. Family, responsibility, faith. If you made a mistake, the honorable thing is to accept the consequences. There was no mistake to accept. I cannot claim responsibility for something that never happened." My sisters watched silently, Lucia gripping Sophia's hand, both looking as though they were witnessing the collapse of everything they had believed about their family. My phone rang again, This time it was Ashley. My father demanded I put it on speaker. Benito, her voice trembled artificially. I need you to stop denying this. I am scared. We both had too much to drink that night. You said it would not be a problem, because it was just once. That never happened, I interrupted. Ashley, why are you saying these things? We never had any intimate contact. Never. How can you say that? Her voice rose dramatically. You promised you would be there for me if anything happened. Now I am pregnant, and you are abandoning me and your baby. After the call, my father stood rigid, his decision made. In this family, we take responsibility for our actions. You will marry this girl and provide for your child, or you are no longer welcome in this house. Dad, I cannot marry someone based on a lie. I cannot claim a child that is not mine. So you choose to call this woman a liar rather than take responsibility. I did not raise my son to behave this way. My mother approached, her hand trembling as she touched my arm. Mijo, please, do the right thing. We can help you through this. The devastation of realizing my own parents did not believe me cut deeper than any pain I had ever experienced. I cannot admit to something I did not do. Not even for you. My father pointed to the door. Then you are no longer my son. Pack your things and get out of my house tonight. In stunned silence, I went to my childhood bedroom. The football trophies and computer science medals seemed to mock me as I mechanically filled a suitcase with clothes and essentials. Family photos on the dresser now felt like artifacts from a life that no longer existed. My mother wept in the hallway but made no move to stop what was happening. As I carried my suitcase downstairs, Sophia slipped me an envelope. My savings, she whispered. $400. I believe you, Benito. I hugged her quickly before my father noticed. Then I walked out of my family home with a single suitcase, my wallet, and my car keys. That first night I slept in my car, in a Walmart parking lot, unable to process how my life had imploded in a single evening. The fallout spread quickly through our tight-knit Mexican-American community. My phone filled with accusatory messages from extended family members. My father's brother Thomas called to tell me I had brought shame to the family name and should stay away from community events. At work, the atmosphere changed as rumors circulated. Co-workers who had once invited me to lunch now avoided eye contact in the hallway. My boss called me into his office to express concerns about my personal choices, reflecting on company values. He placed me on a performance improvement plan despite my consistently strong work creating a paper trail that could lead to termination. When I returned to my parents' neighborhood to collect the rest of my belongings, neighbors who had known me since childhood watched from their porches with disapproving glares. Mrs. Hernandez, who had once baked me cookies every Christmas, closed her curtains as I passed. Within 2 weeks, I had been effectively exiled from my family, community, and social circle. I moved into a dingy motel in a rough part of town, the kind that charged by the week and did not ask questions. My savings would cover about 3 months of bare necessities before I would face financial ruin. Each night brought new depths of despair. My sleep was fractured by nightmares and anxiety. I lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks, my clothes hanging loose on my frame. Some mornings, staring at myself in the cracked bathroom mirror, I contemplated ending the pain permanently. My phone became a source of dread, delivering new wounds daily. Threatening messages from Jason's friends, formal-sounding texts from Ashley about child support payments, silence from my family. I tried calling home repeatedly, but my number had been blocked. I sent letters that were returned unopened. Ashley escalated her demands, sending a message that her lawyer would be contacting me about financial support. Since you refuse to be part of this child's life, you will at least provide financially, she wrote. I expect $2,000 monthly starting immediately. I had never felt so utterly alone or so completely powerless against the tidal wave of injustice crashing over my life. Everything I had worked for, my family relationships, my career prospects, my savings, my reputation, was being systematically destroyed by a lie I could not disprove. Rock bottom was a cold, lonely place with no apparent way out. My unexpected lifeline appeared on a Wednesday afternoon at work. I had been skipping lunch, unable to face the whispers in the break room, when Marcus from the back-end development team approached my desk. Marcus was known for keeping to himself, rarely participating in office social events. "Hungry?" he asked, simply holding up a brown paper bag. I always packed too much. Something in his expression, a complete absence of judgment, broke through my isolation. I nodded silently and followed him to an empty conference room. He unpacked 2 sandwiches, chips, and bottled water, sliding half toward me. "People are talking," he said matter-of-factly, "but not everyone believes the gossip." I stared at him, surprised. "You do not think I did it? My cousin went through something similar. False accusation by his girlfriend when he tried to break up. Nearly ruined his life." Marcus took a bite of his sandwich. "Did you document anything? Save texts? Have witnesses?" "I have been so focused on denying it, I never thought about proving my innocence." "Denial is not strategy," Marcus said. "You need evidence. When the baby is born, demand a DNA test. That is 9 months of living under this cloud. My cousin's girlfriend was not even pregnant, just claimed to be." He looked at me carefully. "Has anyone verified her condition?" That question planted the first seed of proactive resistance rather than passive denial. Marcus introduced me to his cousin Diana, a family law attorney who agreed to meet after hours at her office. Diana's office was sparsely decorated but immaculate. She listened without interruption as I explained the entire situation, taking detailed notes. When I finished, she leaned forward. "We have options. First, we will send a formal letter requesting a prenatal DNA test. Can that be done?" "Yes. Non-invasive prenatal paternity tests can be performed after 8 weeks with a simple blood draw from the mother, completely safe for the fetus." We sent the letter the following day. Ashley's response came quickly through her own legal representation, refusing the test due to concerns for the health of the pregnancy. This raised Diana's suspicions immediately. "That is not a medically valid reason to refuse. The test poses no risk," she explained. "We might need to gather more information." Diana recommended hiring a private investigator to observe Ashley's behavior. Though expensive, I agreed immediately, willing to deplete my savings if it meant clearing my name. The investigator began surveillance the following week. The preliminary report stunned me. Ashley had been observed drinking wine at restaurants multiple times, smoking cigarettes on her apartment balcony, and staying out late at nightclubs, behavior inconsistent with a woman concerned about pregnancy health. Most interestingly, she made regular visits to an apartment complex across town, where she would stay for hours at a time. "Who lives there?" I asked the investigator during our update meeting. "Still working on that. The apartment is leased to a Tyler Dawson." The name meant nothing to me, but it was the first concrete lead we had. Meanwhile, I began my own investigation into Ashley's past, starting with her social media history. Hours of scrolling through archived posts revealed mentions of a boyfriend named Tyler from her New York days. Photos showed a tall man with a sleeve of tattoos and an easy smile. Further research revealed Tyler had relocated to San Diego 3 months before the party, taking a job as a bartender at a popular downtown spot. Checking my own social media, I found several mutual connections. We had gone to the same large high school years apart. Through a former classmate, I obtained Tyler's phone number. Marcus insisted on coming with me to confront Tyler. We found him at the end of his shift at the waterfront bar and grill, wiping down counters as the last customers filtered out. His tattoos now extended up his neck, and his suspicious glare made it clear this would not be an easy conversation. "Tyler Dawson," I approached cautiously. His posture stiffened. "Who is asking?" "My name is Benito. I need to talk to you about Ashley Parker." His expression darkened. "Get out. I know who you are. You have some nerve showing up here." Marcus stepped forward. "Just 5 minutes. In public. Whatever she told you about Benito is not true." After tense negotiation, Tyler agreed to speak with us at the small park across from the bar. We sat on a bench under a streetlight, the ocean breeze carrying the scent of salt and fried food from nearby restaurants. "What do you want?" Tyler demanded. "The truth about Ashley's pregnancy," I said directly. "Did you and Ashley have a relationship after you moved to San Diego?" Tyler laughed bitterly. "Relationship, no. but we hooked up a few times. She contacted me when she found out I had moved here. When was the last time you were together? He thought for a moment. The night before her brother's party. We met at my place after I got off work, around 2 in the morning. My heart raced, and now she is claiming I am the father of her baby. Tyler's face registered surprise, then understanding. She told me she was pregnant 2 weeks ago, said it was some guy she met at a party. He pulled out his phone, scrolling through messages. She never mentioned your name to me. He showed me a text exchange where Ashley had written, "I cannot tell the real father. He is not stable enough to be a dad. I need someone better for this baby." Tyler agreed to provide a sworn statement about their relationship timeline and offered to take a paternity test himself. I might not be father material, but I will not let someone else take the fall for my kid. With Tyler's cooperation, we now had compelling evidence the timeline made it physically impossible for me to be the father. Ashley had been intimately involved with another man the night before the party, and her behavior since claiming pregnancy was inconsistent with prenatal care. Diana prepared a comprehensive legal package, including Tyler's sworn affidavit, the private investigator's reports, with photographic evidence of Ashley drinking and smoking, and messages from Ashley to Tyler discussing the pregnancy. Our breakthrough came when the investigator captured an audio recording of Ashley at a cafe with a friend openly discussing her plan. I needed someone stable, someone with a future. Her voice rang clearly in the recording. Tyler tends bar and has no ambition. Benito has a tech career and comes from a good family. The baby needs that kind of security. As these pieces came together, I received an unexpected call from my youngest sister, Sophia. "Benito," she whispered clearly, calling secretly. "Mom and Dad are planning an engagement dinner with Ashley's family this Sunday. They are pressuring you to do the right thing even in your absence. The time had come for a confrontation." With Diana's guidance, we formulated a plan to present our evidence at the engagement dinner itself, a public setting where I could not be silently dismissed, with both families present to witness the truth. The Castillo family restaurant had been my parents' celebration venue of choice for decades. Walking through its doors that Sunday evening felt like crossing a boundary between my past and whatever uncertain future awaited. Diana walked beside me, briefcase in hand containing our evidence. Marcus and Tyler waited in a car outside, ready to enter when called. The private dining room fell silent as I appeared in the doorway. 8 people sat around a table adorned with flowers and wine glasses. My parents, my sisters, Jason, Ashley, and who I assumed were Ashley's parents. My father stood immediately, face flushing with anger. "You are not welcome here. Leave now." Diana stepped forward. "Mr. Fuentes, I am Diana Martinez, your son's attorney. Before you proceed with any engagement plans, you should be aware of some facts." "We know the facts," Ashley's father interjected. "Your client has refused to take responsibility." "On the contrary," Diana replied calmly. "My client has been working diligently to establish the truth." "Miss Parker, would you like to tell everyone about Tyler Dawson, or shall I?" Ashley's face drained of color. "I do not know who you are talking about."